We may only be 3 months into the new season, but already managers are beginning to be sacked across the continent. Here are 10 more managers we think are fighting for their jobs. 10. Paul Heckingbottom. The future really does not look bright for Sheffield United. Blunted by the loss of their best players in the summer, the Blades' return to the Premier League has been predictably disastrous. From 8 games, they failed to win a single match, losing 7 and drawing once. They may have been unlucky not to have escaped with points against Tottenham and Manchester City, falling to late winners on both occasions, but beyond that, their matches have offered few glimpses of hope. An 8-0 hammering at home to Newcastle United showed just how painful this season could be. It does seem unfair to blame Heckingbottom for all their problems. Any manager would struggle with the void of class Sheffield United face against the elite, and a rumoured return of Chris Wilder to Bramall Lane feels driven by sentiment more than sensibility. But the Blades rank bottom for almost every attacking and defensive metric in the league, and their fixture list doesn't get any easier. Something's got to change, and that might be Heckingbottom. 9. Maurizio Sarri. In Rome, trouble is brewing for both Jose Mourinho and Maurizio Sarri. Mourinho has admitted he's off to his worst start ever, with his Roma side 10th in Serie A, while Sarri's Lazio have collapsed from finishing 2nd last season to 13th at the time of recording. Now, we don't think Mourinho is actually facing the sack. Despite some rumours, his massive wages, expiring contract and adoration from the fans makes it unlikely the cash-strapped Roma would show him the door. Sarri's tenure at the Stadio Olimpico, however, looks far more uncertain. With 4 defeats already, the defensive qualities that defined Lazio last season have evaporated, the side now facing 3 more shots a game. What's worse is that barely any of the Tenho summer signings have started well, from Daichi Kamada to Matteo Guendouzi to their €15 million striker Tati Castellanos. The threats and complaints from Sarri are beginning to flow too. The Italian recently suggested he is ready to retire altogether, so with reports linking the former Marseille boss Igor Tudor with his job, he may not have to wait long for his wish to come true. 8. Claudo Raneri. Now 71 years old, Claudio Raneri is still going at the top level, currently managing in Serie A with Cagliari. It's his 2nd time with the Sardinians and his 22nd job overall, and he has credit in the bank after guiding Castedu out of Serie B last term. But on current form, he could be looking for new employment in the very near future. Cagliari are flat bottom of Serie A with no wins from 8. They've only scored 3 times all season and have been bruised by a run of 4 defeats to Atalanta, Milan, Fiorentina and Roma. The stats actually suggest they don't deserve to be labelled the worst team in the Italian top flight. By expected goals, goals against and points, they have an attack and defence that should be keeping them afloat, and their next 3 games against Salernitana, Frosinone and Genoa should be a greater measure of just how much trouble they're really in. The question is whether Ranieri will be around to guide them through these fixtures. They are all must-win matches, and with an international break looming, the Cagliari owners may look to change things now. 7. Shawn Dyche. It would be incredibly harsh of Everton to sack Shawn Dyche. The former Burnley boss managed to inspire a miserable Toffees to safety last season despite not getting a single addition in the January market, and they are showing signs of promise this term. Jarrad Branthwaite and James Garner are 2 youngsters making strides under Dyche, while expected points suggest Everton should be 7th just behind Liverpool. In reality, they are down in 16th, facing another slog to survive. Although wins against Bournemouth and Brentford offer hope, they fall into relegation fodder in Luton, Fulham and Wolves, and can only draw at Sheffield United. Dyche's main issue is his forwards just can't score consistently. Everton have netted 9 this season, yet expected goals suggests that number should be over 17, with new signings Beto and Danjuma, along with Decore, all guilty of passing up opportunities. Now this is not entirely Dyche's fault, however the Toffees have new owners on the horizon, and if they ultimately decide he's the reason the forward line is faltering, then his job could be on the line. 6. Rudy Garcia. Napoli's decision to replace Luciano Spalletti with Rudy Garcia was underwhelming to say the least. Spalletti delivered a historic Serie A title in style, playing beautiful high-possession football. Garcia, meanwhile, had just left Al Nassr in Saudi Arabia after falling out with Cristiano Ronaldo. Not exactly the pedigree appointment to follow in Spalletti's wake. To his credit, Garcia has won major honours, most notably guiding Lille to a league and cup double in 2011. He's also gone deep in European competitions with Marseille and Lyon, something that will have been noticed by Napoli president Aurelio De Laurentiis, who is obsessed with winning the Champions League. But already, pressure is mounting on the 59-year-old. A recent defeat to Fiorentina has left them 5th in Serie A, nowhere near the title challengers from Milan. More worryingly, the club's star players Victor Osimhen and Kavica Kvaratskhelia have both publicly fumed at tactical decisions by the Frenchman, with Gazzetta dello Sport suggesting the squad are deserting Garcia in swaves. Napoli look more laboured and mechanical this season, and the fans are growing restless. It may not happen soon, but Garcia's days at the Maradona already look numbered. 5. Maurice Stein. Ajax have plunged into total chaos. After 6 matches, they're in the relegation zone of the Eredivisie, and although they have games in hand, it's still an unprecedented and unacceptable position for them to be in. But some could argue this was coming. After finishing 3rd last season, the entire board resigned, while the club lost a host of big players, including Dusan Tadic, Mohamed Kudus and Edson Alvarez. Maurice Stein was then tasked with gelling together a new-look Ajax, bolstered by signings like Chuba Akpom and Borna Sosa. But his job wasn't made any easier by the sacking of sporting director Sven Mislintat in late September. And in truth, Stein looks out of his depth. He was hired off the back of guiding Sparta Rotterdam to an impressive 6th place finish last season. However, his managerial career up to this point has been with Dutch minnows, with expectations far below what he's experiencing in Amsterdam. The fans look furious too, causing a riot during a recent home defeat to Feyenoord at the Johan Cruyff Arena that caused the game to be stopped. The 49-year-old does deserve time to turn things around, but the pressure could be all too much. 4. Rafa Benitez. Rafa Benitez and Celta Vigo look like the perfect match. After a chastening spell at Everton, Benitez returned to Spain on the tranquil coast of Galicia to a club who rarely, if ever, wins silverware. Benitez has a CV that outstrips many in the game, so perhaps the former Liverpool and Real Madrid boss could finally unlock Celta's potential. After 9 matches, Vigo have won once and sit 18th. Osasuna and Mallorca have got the better of them at home, while Celta have thrown away leads in the final 10 minutes to lose against Barcelona and Las Palmas. Jude Bellingham's winner for Real Madrid also came in the 81st minute. Benitez can argue his side have been unlucky. Expected points suggests they should be 11th with double their current haul, and he hasn't been helped by the sale of key squad members Javi Galan and Gabri Veiga. But Benitez was meant to be pushing them up the table, not fighting relegation. Now 63, the bulk of his success feels a long time ago, so if results don't improve, maybe Celta Vigo will start considering a manager more suited to the modern game. 3. Valyrian Ishma. If you think that Watford handing Valyrian Ishma a new contract means his job is safe, then you are wrong. His surprise new deal this October was accompanied with a clear message of support from the owners. But this is Watford, and the Frenchman is hardly deserving of improved job security. In any other season, the former West Brom and Besiktas manager would be long gone from Vicarage Road. His side are currently 20th in the Championship with 5 defeats from 10, and lost immediately after his new deal was announced away to Sunderland. The Pozzo family's tempestuous ownership style means that Ishmael is the club's 18th permanent manager since Gianfranco Zola was fired a decade ago, a truly remarkable turnover rate. They may be trying something new with Ishmael, but relegation is simply not an option for the Hornets. As the saying goes, a leopard can't change its spots, so if things continue to go wrong under Ishmael, expect him to be the next casualty on the touchline at Watford. 2. Andoni Iola. This summer, Bournemouth decided to modernise by sacking Gary O'Neill for Andoni Iola. Although O'Neill had rallied the Cherries to a surprise survival, Iola was considered one of the continent's best-kept secrets, with his fun and expansive style helping lowly Rayo Vallecano to push to the brink of Europe in La Liga. The owners decided he was the perfect underdog to drive the South Coast Minnows up the Premier League table. Bournemouth then invested £109 million on transfers, the 4th biggest net spend in the entire top flight, giving the Basque tactician plenty of talent to play with. However, something is just not clicking for the 41-year-old at the Vitality. In the relegation zone with no wins and 3 draws, the South Coast outfit looked toothless going forward. They've only scored 5 all season, 3 of those belonging to Dominic Solanke, while they are lucky to have conceded 18 against an expected goals return of 21. Too porous and lacking the solid identity that defined them last season, none of their signings have hit the ground running either. Iriola's other problem is that his predecessor is shining at Wolves. It's left some Cherries fans wishing they never got rid of O'Neill after all. 1. Erik ten Hag. It goes without saying that Erik ten Hag deserves plenty of plaudits for his work at Manchester United, but this season has been dreadful so far, and would have been worse were it not for Scott McTominay's heroics. Plagued by player misconduct, a botched sale of the club by the Glazers, and a spate of crippling injuries, United's title challenge looks over already. They've lost half their league matches, have suffered back-to-back defeats in the Champions League, including an embarrassing home loss to Galatasaray, while Ten Hag is down a right winger after a public fallout with Jadon Sancho. Ten Hag can't catch a break, and he isn't being helped by his personally selected goalkeeper Andre Onana producing several massive mistakes. In their defence, the Red Devils' backline is constantly changing due to injuries, and new signing Rasmus Højlund has started strongly, offering a positive for the future. It appears most United fans don't want Ten Hag to go, and for results to improve, he desperately needs his squad back to full fitness. But until then, there is still a risk that the former Ajax boss is chewed up by the negativity at the club and spat out of Old Trafford for good. So that's our look at 10 managers who could be facing the sack already this season. What do you make of our list? Let us know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button and subscribe to Football Daily if you haven't already, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.